This is the handgun that I used when I was on guard duty with Yogi Bhajan. That was back in the 80s. I also had a gallery. I probably have the biggest collection of Yogi Bhajan's so-called art, if you want to call it that. As you can see, there are drawings of phalluses. There's a woman here in the center. And then he's put the word power here. I think it's really indicative of how abusive he was. He's got God written here.
Kundalini Yoga is notorious for being a highly intense form of yoga, and for more than 4 decades, it has been dominated by the name of one man, Yogi Bhajan.
I'm His Holiness Sri Singh Sahib, Bhai Sahib, or Bhajan Singh calls a Yogi ji. But I'm not His Holiness in the sense that my word is final.
I was around Yogi Bhajan for about 30 years.
But in recent years, members of his inner circle have broken ranks to describe the troubling events they witnessed behind closed doors.
I did the guard duty, and I would take him in the middle of the night up to different residences, and he would be dressed just in his underwear and then a shawl he would put over him. I started to look deeper into what was really going on, and I was really angry about it. He had women around him all the time, giving him massages, sleeping in the same room with him. There was no criticism of Yogi Bhajan.
However, in the eyes of the first wave of believers, Yogi Bhajan can do no wrong.
I think Yogi Bhajan was a person with great purpose. We came to set up a yoga program.
Kundalini Yoga is one of the highest yoga.
The kind of yoga that Yogi Bhajan taught is basically get high yoga.
Go up and down with the twist of the body at the base. And let it put pressure on your muscles.
His was doing a very stimulate your nervous system, like raise your arms up for 3 minutes and do long, heavy, deep breathing.
Exhale, inhale.
Well, if you do that, you're going to kind of get stoned.
What you do when you do Kundalini Yoga, you create a God's will in you. And God will conquer all that other deficiencies.
Yogi Bhajan's physical yoga practice is rooted in spiritual teachings taken from Sikhism.
He made tremendous contributions to the Sikh culture, which nobody ever heard of practically outside of India before he came here, and to the yogic culture.
Those who came to follow the physical and spiritual sides of 3HO often stayed for Yogi Bhajan himself, who seemed equally devoted to them.
Yogi Bhajan called me Premka. The names had spiritual meanings. He said it meant beloved of God. I had learned that Yogi Bhajan was teaching yoga classes. I was looking for Eastern philosophy, Eastern thought, and I was looking for a teacher that could tell me what I was supposed to do. When I came into class with Yogi Bhajan, it was full of this whole entire hippie commune that had come from New Mexico.
When Yogi Bhajan comes to Southern California in the late 1960s, revolution is in the air.
Yeah, we were the free love generation.
We were looking for something that was different than the kind of repressed living in the 50s.
It was kind of a free love movement. I was caught up, like everybody else of my generation, in the Vietnam War protests.
So Yogi Bhajan comes along with, there were probably 20 or 30 major teachers from the East, and they bring this kind of cultural wisdom. Again, this is early 70s. We didn't have websites that give this information and these teachers. We weren't inoculated against this kind of someone who knew something about life that we didn't.
I saw Yogi Bhajan standing in the back of the room, this tall, incredibly good-looking man in a bright pink turban. All of a sudden, I saw this purple aura around his head. And I'd keep blinking my eyes, and it didn't go away. It majorly impacted me in terms of, is this my spiritual teacher? He just kept pulling me into activities with him. What was most enticing was his interest and his curiosity about me. As I kept taking more and more administrative responsibility, he created a title, Secretary General, for me.
Come on, come on.
People would go through these couple-week trainings, and then he would send them out elsewhere in the country and say, go teach Kundalini Yoga and open an ashram.
I was the head of the ashram in Canada for 15 years. It started with simply putting some posters up to teach Kundalini Yoga. People would show up for a class, 10 or 15 people. And then there was this urge that we wanted to live in the same either neighborhood or in the same house. And that led to, let's buy a house. So it became an ashram.
He actually had a letter go out suggesting to people that they put their ashrams, their houses, in the name of the organization, and this would help them with being tax exempt on their property taxes and stuff because it would be a nonprofit, and it would be held for the future generations.
3HO was growing the whole time. It went from tens of thousands to 50,000 to 100,000.
This explosive growth transforms 3HO from a small tribe into a national movement. The momentum brings a constant stream of believers into the fold.
Yogi Bhajan was empowering our imaginations and saying, imagine, work towards a new tomorrow, work towards a healthy, happy, holy culture.
When I went to United States, I started saying, happiness is our birthright. We have to be healthy, happy, and holy. And then I said, it's your right to change.
Yogi Bhajan taught us to get up at 4 in the morning, to be vegetarian, no alcohol, no drugs, keep ourselves chaste.
He had 1,000 things to do about everything. How to sleep, what direction, what clothes to wear. If you wear your hair up in a rishi knot, it's good for your electromagnetic field. In order to become better.
I think the marriage is getting together and getting it together forever to face this earth, whatever it gives.
80% of the marriages were arranged.
There would be a course, and he would line up all the unmarried men on one wall and all the unmarried women on the other. And then he just matched them up and said, you marry you.
From the marriages arranged by Yogi Bhajan, children started being born into 3HO.
The first generation chose to become part of 3HO and told the second generation, this is what you have to do. And the second generation had no choice, unless we were going to run away, right? But we had no choice.
I have no complaints, because he made us hippies into something different.
We lived a pretty clean lifestyle. We lived together, we raised our kids together. It was exactly what it said, healthy, happy, and holy. And that's why it was very difficult to leave.
I want these people to challenge things because I am their yesterday and they are my tomorrow.
I remembered that there was a point when he said to me, Premka, your faith must be so perfect that if I ask you to kill someone, you will just do it.